Hello everyone, welcome to the second chapter of section A, which is about the balance sheet. Let's start this chapter, and I believe you guys will be able to understand like what is balance sheet and all about balance sheet. Like in the previous chapter we discussed what are different kinds of financial statements. In this, let's discuss the financial balance sheet, which is the statement of financial position. So first name is the balance sheet. Let me choose the right one. Okay, so first of all, balance sheet is the one name. The second name is the statement of financial position. So wherever if it is written statement of financial position or balance sheet, it is one and the same thing. One thing we need to remember, that balance sheet is prepared at a point in time. Wherever you see any company ka balance sheet, anywhere you go, any financial statement you see, you will always see balance sheet as of 31st March 2000 XXX. That means balance sheet is prepared on a particular date. It is not for a particular period. Why? Because balance sheet shows that what is the position of your organization. Position means what? It's not related to the profit. Position does not means what? It's not related to the profit. Position means that how much assets you own and what are the liabilities that you owe. That means how many assets you are entitled to hold, how many assets you have the ownership of, and what are your liabilities, what you have to pay to the others. That's what financial statement of financial position or the balance sheet shows. It also helps the business to understand whether it can survive or not. Whether it can survive. That means if the liabilities are more, that means you have to pay more amount of money and you have lesser amount of ownership. Obviously you will face difficulty. Obviously you will not be able to survive in the long run or maybe even in the short run. So that's what balance sheet or the statement of financial position tells us. Now, as always, we study that why a particular concept exists. Let us understand that why the balance sheet is there in picture. So balance sheet, it helps us to understand what assets the company has and how those assets are funded. That means what all assets a company has. Suppose I have a business, like we own the First Principles Academy. We have our projector, we have our office space, we have our furniture, we have a vehicle. All are these what? All are these the assets which the company owns. And what are the liabilities? Like suppose we need to pay the rent. We need to pay the rent. So that is what? That is kind of a liability for us. Or maybe I will take one another example. I have an iPhone manufacturing unit. I have an iPhone manufacturing unit where all the assets I have purchased on EMI basis. I have taken it on loan. So how these assets are funded? By the virtue of the loan, where this loan will be listed in my balance sheet. So that is what the balance sheet provides us. That is, it shows us what are these assets and how did we get these money for funding these assets. That means from where did we get the money to purchase these assets. That's what the balance sheet shows us. And also it helps the user. Balance sheet helps the users to compute the rates of return, evaluate the capital structure and predict the future cash flows. That means the rate of return means what? How much money you have invested, from that how much money you are able to make. Like as we all buy and sell shares. Now suppose I am buying a particular share. From that share, how much money I am able to make. So that is what that is the rate of return. And to evaluate the capital structure, that means how much debt we have, how much equity we have in the business. Debt means what? The money which is there in the business from taking the loan. Equity means what? Owner's money. That we can easily understand from the balance sheet because both are presented in the balance sheet. Then also we can predict the future cash flows. How? We have accounts receivable, we have accounts payable. So with the help of that and maybe any other assets or liabilities will be listed over there. That can be easily presented with the help of the balance sheet. Then it is used Balance sheet is used to assess the liquidity, solvency, financial flexibility and risk. Liquidity means what? Whether I will be able to pay my short term liabilities or not. That means any payment which I have to make within a year, within a duration of 12 months, that we can analyze with the help of liquidity. Solvency means what? Long term payments, any payment which we need to make after a long period of time, that is what solvency means. What? Whether I'll be able to make that payment or not. So that is what solvency. So if a company is not liquid, that means they are not able to pay off their short term liabilities. If a company is insolvent, that means they will not be able to carry out their activities in long term because they don't have enough money. Then comes the financial flexibility. That means whether you have enough money in a business or not to carry out your activities easily. That's what balance sheet shows us. Why? Because we need cash for a day-to-day business, and cash is listed over there in the balance sheet. Then comes the risk. That means what all danger does a business have. If a company has a lot of liabilities, that means what? It could be a risky affair. Then also it helps us to evaluate whether we are able to pay our debts or not, whether we are able to distribute returns to the investors or not. Then who are the investors? Investors are the people who have put in money in our business so that we can carry out our activities easily, and also they become the owners of a business. Acha, one important thing is to note that it is a snapshot at a point in time. It is not meant to show the business value, but it will help us to estimate it. That means what is the worth of the business. If someone tomorrow wants to come and buy my business, whether they can whether that will be clearly visible from the balance sheet or not. No, that will not be very clearly visible from the balance sheet, but with the help of balance sheet we can estimate it. We can make a wise guess that okay, this could be the value of my business and someone can buy it. Then one important concept explanation. Balance sheet shows the fundamental accounting equation. What is the fundamental accounting equation? Asset equals to liabilities plus equity. Acha, in a balance sheet, I'll just make a T format of balance sheet over here. In a balance sheet, one side we have assets, one side we have the assets, this side, and on another side we have the liabilities and the equities. Okay, so assets is always equals to liability plus equity. Asset means what all we owe, liability we own. Assets means what all we own, liabilities what all we own, and whatever is remaining out of assets and liabilities is termed as the equity. So we can say assets minus liabilities is equal to the equity. One very basic example is given to us over here. A Bangalore startup, they have the assets of 6 lakh and bank loan of 4 lakh. That means the liability of 4 lakh. So the remaining amount is the equity. That is the owner's capital, the people who have invested money in the business, and they are the owners of the business, the equity holders. So this is a very basic example that how to calculate the equity when assets and liabilities is given to us. So balance sheet comprises of assets, liabilities and equities. Asset equals to liabilities and equities. Assets have two categories, current assets and non-current assets. Liabilities have two categories, current liabilities, non-current liabilities. Now current, non-current, non-current. What does that mean? Current means what? That means which is going to mature within a period of 12 months. And non-current means what? Which is gonna mature after a period more than 12 months. Current assets means what? Best example of a business, cash. Cash is a current asset. Non-current assets which is gonna be there in the business for a long period of time. For example, machinery, laptop, furniture. These are non-current assets. Coming to the liability, current liability, accounts payable. I have to repay the money, actually I have to pay the money for the goods I purchased from my creditor, for which the duration was 3 months. The duration to pay the money was 3 months. So that is my current liability because I have to pay it within a short span of time, within a duration of 12 months. Non-current liabilities, that means that I need to pay after a period of 12 months. That means suppose I have taken a 5-year loan, I have to pay it in 2047 maybe, just assuming. So that is a non-current liability. Why? Because I need to pay it after 12 months. Then comes the equity. Then comes the equity, the residual interest, whatever money is remaining after deducting the liabilities from the asset. That thing is what? Equity. What all is there in equity? Share capital, then reserves, retained earnings, OCI, NCI. OCI is other comprehensive income, NCI is non-controlling interest, and the treasury stock. What is all these? We will study later on, but just for as of now, we should just know that in the equity we have the share capital, the money which is invested by the shareholders or maybe the owners, the reserves, any money which we are keeping aside for any future use, then the retained earnings, that means out of the profit some money we keep aside for saving purpose, that is the retained earnings. Then the other comprehensive income, any income which is generated outside of the day-to-day operation, that goes into OCI. Then non-controlling interest, that means those owners, those equity owners who have very small portion of equity, that is 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, like that. So those are termed as the non-controlling interest, and less the treasury stock. What are the treasury stock? We will discuss later on in this chapter. So these are the one and the same formulas, just the position has been changed. Like when we have to calculate the asset, just asset equals to liabilities plus equity. If equity has to be calculated, assets minus liability. Then the rate of return, or how do we calculate the rate of return? We divide the income by the total assets. That's how we calculate the rate of return. Some core concepts of balance sheet: liquidity, financial flexibility, solvency, risk. These are given. Liquidity I have already discussed. That means which is the liability which is payable, which we have to pay within a short span of time, within a period of less than 12 months. And then solvency, long-term obligations. Financial flexibility means what? Ability to adjust cash flows for unexpected needs and opportunities. That means we should have enough finances. Finances means what? Enough cash, enough money in the business, so that if any unforeseeable circumstances comes up, if any maybe opportunity comes up, maybe just imagine I am manufacturing iPhones. The company that provides me the material, the silicon chip that needs to be inculcated in my iPhone, they are doing what? They are giving it at a heavy discount. If we buy it now, in that case we might need extra cash. So without hampering my day-to-day activity, can I avail that opportunity? That is what financial flexibility is about. Then any risk, any danger which is associated in a particular business, uncertainty in cash flows and financial results, that is also one of the important concepts of balance sheet. Then these last points are very important. First of all, the accounts in the balance sheets are permanent accounts. That means they are not closed everywhere, every year. They have the carry forward balances. For example, in my balance sheet, one of the accounts is machinery. Do you think I am going to close that machinery account at the end of the year? No, not until the time I am going to sell off that machinery. So it's kind of a permanent account. We are going to carry forward the balance. Like suppose this year end the machinery is for 2k, and then after applying the depreciation, next year it becomes 1.8k. So in that case, what I am going to do, I am going to carry forward the 1.8k for the next year. Then elements of balance sheet, very easy, we have already discussed. Assets and liabilities. Assets are those which give us the future economic benefits controlled by entity due to the past transactions, and they must satisfy the past transactions, present controls and future benefit criteria. Then what are the liabilities? They are the future sacrifices due to present obligations. I have bought an iPhone today. This is an asset for me. So this is going to give me a future economic benefit. I am going to use it to record reels and to record vlogs. This is going to I have a present control, and this is going to give me a future benefit. But I have bought it on EMI. So what I am going to do? I am going to sacrifice in future for this. That means I am going to pay cash to the bank in order to make this my own, like get the proper entitlement for this. So what is this? This is the past transaction. I have bought the iPhone in the past, but presently I am paying EMI for this, and in future also I am going to pay the EMI for this. So that is all three conditions are satisfied. That is why it is a liability. What is a liability? The EMI. So asset is what? My asset is my iPhone, and liability is what? The EMI. That is the liability. Then past, present and future. So what is the past? Past is the asset. For asset, it is the bought resource. What is the bought resource? This. Then we took the obligation. What obligation did we take? That we are going to pay the EMI. Then present, it is owned and controlled. I own this iPhone, I control it, I want to use whatever application I want to use on it. Then liability, it is owed or payable. I am currently paying the EMI for this. I have to pay it in future also. Then what are the economic benefit in the future from the asset? I'm going to make vlogs, I'm going to make reels out of this, I'm going to make money out of that. That is what my future cash inflow. Then in future I'm going to pay the EMI for this. That is a cash outflow, that is a economic sacrifice. Now coming to the equity. What are equity? Residual interest after liabilities. Once from the asset all the liabilities has been paid off, whatever is remaining is the residual interest, that is remaining interest. So it is what? Owner's investment plus the retained profits. That is what the equity is. Now we have a very basic explanation, very simple explanation what are current versus non-current, whether it is asset or it is a liability. We have what? Current asset, current liability, non-current asset, non-current liability. Now classification depends on operating cycle or 1 year if no clear cycle. If operating cycle is longer than 12 months, use the longer period. Acha, how do we determine the current versus non-current duration? Current means what? Current means what? If the duration of a maturity of a particular asset, particular liability, or a life cycle or a life lifetime, maybe I could say the life of a particular asset is operating cycle is equal to 1 year or maybe more than that. That's how we determine the current versus non-current in a nutshell. So current means what? Anything which is less than 12 months. If the operating cycle is more than 12 months, then we will consider the operating cycle to decide whether a particular asset or liability falls under the category of current or non-current. Now, very simple, just to summarize once again, how do we determine whether a asset or a liability is current or a non-current one? First of all, we will see the operating cycle. If the operating cycle is less than 12 months, then 12 months is going to be what? 12 months is going to be a duration under which whatever is falling will be termed as current. If the operating cycle is longer than 12 months, suppose the operating cycle will be given in the question, you say it is for 14 months, then to determine any asset or liability as a current will be what? 14 months. Now, current means what? Realized or consumed within the operating cycle or 1 year, whichever is longer. Non-current means what? Held beyond the operating cycle or 1 year. What all is there in current assets? That means which will be realized or consumed in the operating cycle or within a duration of 1 year. So cash, cash equivalents, marketable securities, receivables, contract assets, inventory, prepaid expenses, restricted cash. These all are what? These are current assets. What are each of them? Let's see. I'll have some water. Okay, so cash means what? The currency notes, the money in the bank, that is cash. Cash equivalent means what? Highly liquid securities. You have bought any maybe any kind of a treasury bill, any kind of a instrument which is going to be maturing in a period of 2.5 months or maybe in 3 months or less than 3 months. No risk is involved and you can easily go and sell it off in the market if you want to sell it off even before its maturity. That is a cash equivalent. Then marketable security. Marketable securities are three types. Trading, available for sale, or held to maturity. Trading securities are always current. Why? Because you are buying and selling it frequently. Available for sale, that means you are not held it for trading purpose and you are not holding it till maturity, but if you get a good price, you're gonna sell it off. So it is current if it is for operational purpose. Then held to maturity, that means any asset or any marketable security which you're gonna hold up till the period of maturity. Like suppose I bought one debenture of 5 years for 5 years. The duration of the debenture is for 5 years. Now what happens? I bought that in 2020. So in 2025 that debenture is gonna mature. So in 2025 balance sheet, I'm going to show it as a current asset. Why? Because it's going to mature within a duration of 1 year. Then coming to the receivables, what happens with the receivables? In the receivables, we have the trade receivables, we have the notes receivables, we have the employee loans. Then comes the contract assets, where contract assets are what? They are as per ASC 606, that means as per the revenue recognition standards, where you have the right to receive the money, you have the right to receive the consideration, but it is conditional. That means it will depend on a satisfying of a particular objective or maybe a particular activity. So that is also termed under the current assets. Then comes the inventory. What all is there in inventory? Raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. All these fall under the inventory. Coming to the prepaid expenses. Now, prepaid expenses are the expenses that are paid in advance. Like suppose for my like my RO subscription which I have at my home, for that I pay in the beginning of the year. I pay for that in the beginning of the year. So that is what a kind of my prepaid expense. That is also is not convertible into cash, but it is what? It is a kind of a current asset. Why? Because I am avoiding the future cash flows by the virtue of that. Then restricted cash or the current is termed as a current. That means used for paying current obligations or supporting short-term borrowing. Sometimes organizations do what? They will have cash with them, extra cash with them, they will restrict it. That means they are not going to allow it to use it for any other purpose apart from the purpose for which they have kept it. That cash, if it is termed for any, it is kept for any current obligation, like if I have to make any payments within the duration of 1 year or any short-term borrowing, then that restricted cash is kept under the category of current asset. Then comes the non-current asset. For the non-current asset, we have the restricted cash. We have kept the cash for repaying any liability which is maturing after a period of 1 year or any long-term purpose. Then we have the marketable securities. Then we have the which are held for the investment and not following under the operations category. Then we have any long-term investments. We have property, plant and equipment. We have right of use assets. Achha, how does right of use assets generate? Whenever we take any asset on lease, whenever we take any asset on lease, that leased asset is recorded on my books of accounts as right of use asset. I will record that particular asset in my balance sheet as a right of use asset. So that is there. Then intangible assets, that means like goodwill, trademark, patent, copyright. These are also what? Intangible assets, but they are non-current. Why? Because they don't have any maturity. Then some other non-current assets are what? Contract assets, which are for long-term non-current receivables, insurance, cash surrender value, deferred tax asset, long-term prepaid expenses. These are what? These are some other categories of non-current assets. Now, current liabilities, that is obligations settled using current assets or new current liabilities. Now, trade payables or accounts payables, they are the current liabilities. Then accrued liabilities, that means for which we have availed the services but the payment has not yet been done. So wages, taxes, accruals, then some other kinds of current liabilities are given over here, which we just need to have a look and just need to understand, these are current liabilities, like dividends payable, contract liabilities, customer deposits. Any customer has given us the money in advance and we are yet to deliver them the goods. Then tax collection from the, we have this TDS, tax deducted at source. Our employer, they deduct our taxes, so that is also a current liability. Then any kind of demand notes, short-term notes, current portion of any long-term debt, like I gave you the example of the debt from 2020 to 2025, the debenture example, that one. Then any warranty obligations. Then special case refinancing. If a company has intention and ability to refinance, current liability has to be classified as non-current. That means, suppose I have taken a loan of 5 crore from State Bank of India in 1998. Now that loan was for 15 years. That loan was for 15 years. That means in 2015, that in 2013, that loan has to be has to come to an end. But I am saying that I want to extend that loan for another 30 years. So that means what? That means I am going to refinance it. I am going to extend that loan. So that particular current liability in 2013 has to be reclassified, has to be shown as a non-current liability. Why? Because I am going to refinance it. I am going to extend the duration of that. Then we have the bank overdraft. Achha, what is OD? It's also termed as OD or the bank overdraft. That means, suppose always we have this overdraft facility in the bank, I have 10,000 rupees in my bank account, but I am in a dire need of 18,000 bucks. 10,000 I can use, and I can say to the bank that I want to use the overdraft facility, the OD facility. In that case, I can withdraw 8,000, 18,000 from my bank. The 8,000 rupees is kind of a loan which the bank is given to me. Now what happens in two scenarios will be there. Now suppose I have different account, like I have SBI account, I have PNB account. I have used the overdraft facility from the Punjab National Bank account, the PNB account. What I will use, what I will show that OD as, I will show that OD as a current liability, considering that I don't have any positive balance in my Punjab National Bank account. Another scenario, I have my bank account in State Bank of India account, and I have 10,000 rupees as cash over there, 10,000 rupees as cash over there, and I have used the overdraft facility of 8,000 rupees from another account in the same State Bank of India. In that case, I can net off the values which is there in my State Bank of India account, that is 10,000 in my one account and overdraft in another account. Why? Because overdraft is kind of a liability. So this 10,000 minus 8,000, 2,000 I can show as my what? As my cash, and in my notes to financial statements I can show it as the overdraft taken. So that is what the overdraft treatment is about. Now, non-current liabilities and equity. Non-current liabilities, what do we have? Long-term debts, bonds payable, pension obligations for the employees, deferred tax liabilities, long-term warranties, contract liabilities. All these fall under the category of non-current liabilities. Coming to the equity, what all do we have in equity? Share capital, additional paid in capital, retained earnings, OCI, NCI, treasury stock. What are all these? Share capital, par value of shares. I have 1000 shares in my company. The value of each share is 1 rupees. So 1000 into 1, 1000 will be my share capital. Then additional paid in capital. Sorry guys for the interruption, I just started up cough session. Okay, fine. So equity, coming to the equity, we were discussing about the share capital. So additional paid in capital means what? As I told, I have 1000 shares of 1 rupees each. So 1000 into 1 will become my what? Will become my share capital. Now suppose I have a very good reputation in the company, and now my shares are not being sold for just rupees 1. My shares are now being sold for 1.5 rupees. So 10 people purchased my shares. So 10 into 1.5 will be 15 rupees. So the 5 rupees extra which I am getting for each share, for all the shares, sorry. So that will be what? That will be my APIC, 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 additional paid in capital. That is the excess over par. Then comes the retained earnings. That means the profit which I am keeping aside for accumulation purpose, like for keeping it aside like a saving. Then comes the OCI. That is those income which is not there in my income statement, which I get from another day to day apart from the activities which are related to my business, but it's gonna affect my equity. Then comes the NCI. That is the non-controlling interest. That is minority ownership in sorry, in subsidiaries. That is what my NCI is. Then comes the treasury stock. That is the shares which we have repurchased of our own organization from the market. Why? Because we want to reduce the number of shareholders in the business. So treasury stock is shown as a negative, as is deducted from the statement of changes in equity. Then what are some benefits and limitations of balance sheet? Benefits are that it helps us to calculate the rates of return on assets. Then it helps us to evaluate the capital structure. It also helps us to predict the cash flows. Then assess the financial health. So compute return means what? As we know, from the assets we can understand that okay, with the help of the assets we can compute the return, how much income we are generating. That is what the benefit of balance sheet. Then we can evaluate the capital structure. That means how much equity we have in the business and how much debts we have in the business. Then with the help of the balance sheet we can predict the future cash flows. That is also one thing. Then it helps us to assess the financial health. We can understand the liquidity, solvency, flexibility and risk offer with the help of a balance sheet. Then what are the limitations of balance sheet? First of all, it gives us the incomplete picture. Why? Because it needs to be read alongside the cash flow statement. As we know, cash flow statement and balance sheet go on hand in hand. It will, because they complement each other. If we just analyze a business with the help of the balance sheet, it's not sufficient. Then not true business value. Then many assets not recorded, employees brand internal systems. That means their balance sheet, it does not gives us the exact business value, because many assets they are not recorded. For example, we have very good employees in a business who are very loyal to our company. Because of those employees, our company's performance is skyrocketing. In that case, we cannot record these things on our balance sheet. Then our internal control is very strong. The machinery we are using is of very good quality. Can we record these things? Can we record these qualitative factors in balance sheet and help us to determine the business value? No. Then historical cost issues. Why? Because suppose I bought a land today for 5 lakh rupees for my business purpose, but today the worth of that land is 50 lakh rupees. Can I record that? Can I appreciate the value of increase the value of the asset it recorded on my balance sheet? No. Then use of estimates. Often in my balance sheet we have things like depreciation, we have allowance for bad debts, allowance for credit losses, then the useful life of an asset. These all are based on the asset estimates, on our wise guesses. So these are also might sometimes can be not that accurate and can be vague. Then limitations not at liabilities not at market rates. That is, interest rate changes not reflected in liability values. Like suppose I took a loan 5 years ago of 50 CR. After 10 years when I have to repay it, it will not be 50 CR, but it will be shown as 50 CR on my balance sheet. Then fair value, price to sell an asset or transfer a liability, now used for financial instruments and derivatives. That means what is fair value? One thing we need to remember, that the price which we will get to sell an asset or maybe transfer my liability to another person. That is what fair value. So if anywhere fair value is mentioned in the question or maybe anywhere you see, you just understand what is fair value. So yeah, we are done with the balance sheet, and let's see how this topic can be tested in the examination. First of all, there can be the question like where they can ask you whether a particular asset or liability is current or non-current. So we need to remember that. Then whether what are the concepts behind asset, liability, equity, that we need to remember. Then we need to remember the concepts of bank overdraft, restricted cash, refinancing concept, that we need to remember. Sometimes there could be a calculation of maybe asset, liability, equity. Any of these three can be asked, because we know asset equals to liabilities plus equity. That one equation we need to remember. Then any theory like what are the limitations of the balance sheet, what are the benefits of the balance sheet. Then what is a fair value, that we need to remember. Then how the examiner can twist the question. They can give you the operating cycle as well, and they can give you the 12 months duration as well. If the operating cycle is longer, then we need to consider that in order to determine a current asset or a current liability. That we need to watch out for. Then refinancing. If a long-term liability is being refinanced, then we need to classify it as a non-current liability. Then restricted cash classification, intention-based classification, then bank overdraft treatment. These are like where the examiner can twist the question and ask. Then what are the students' mistakes that we make? Whatever twists the examiner will put, on those twists or maybe on those tricky things, we are going to do what? We are going to make the mistakes. Like treating all investment as current and then ignoring the operating cycle, forgetting that treasury stock reduces from the equity, then confusing the prepaid expense as a non-current, but prepaid expense is what? A current asset. Then assuming that balance sheet shows a true value. No, it does not show us a true value. These are some keywords which we need to remember, and we need to understand the meaning of each, which we have already discussed in today's class. Then lastly, student confusion. Student, what confusions do they have? That why prepaid expense is an asset if no cash will come? Why? Because cash is not coming in, but again we are not going to have any future cash outflow because of the prepaid expense. It is giving us an economic benefit. That is why prepaid expense is a current asset. Then One exam thinking tip for every asset and liability, past, present and future. I gave you the iPhone example. If you have forgotten, revise that again, rewind this particular chapter and watch this recording again. And these are the types of the questions that you can expect in this particular chapter. Obviously all will be the MCQs based, and also in the scenario based what all can be asked. So yeah, that's all for the balance sheet. If you have any doubts, please drop your doubts in the comment section or reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.